How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another...
Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Yes, it is Lost Heroes of the Golden Age.
Let's get started.
What is your hurry? I mean, I'm the one who normally says that.
Have you seen her? Put up a picture.
Okay, I'll put a picture of her right here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? Do you want to put your tongue back in your mouth now?
Maybe.
Okay, look.
I really like Jungle Girls.
Yes, I know you like the Jungle Girls. This one was actually a request by, and he said that he likes the ginger girls of the Golden Age.
So do I.
You like all the girls of the Golden Age.
Point.
Okay. Anyways, we are covering a Jungle Girl for this one out of Nedor Comics. Now, there was a lot of Jungle Girls that came out. The Jungle Girls wasn't a new concept. They came out as early as, I think, 1908 might have been the first one. But Sheena, the Jungle Girl, was the first one to make it to comic books. I think it was Jungle Girl. And she came out right before 1940. Now, the explosion of the Jungle Girls happened at the end of the 40s and the beginning of the 50s to about partial way through the 50s. Now, Jungle Girls have still been in the comics, but their big explosion was there at the end of the 40s and the beginning of the 50s. Now, I don't think I don't think there's any that really stand out in their own way. They pretty much have the same body type, long legs, big breasts, long flowing hair, perfectly shaven. They have different outfits, and that's one of the ways to tell them apart. Most of the Jungle Girls they were all white from what I've been able to see, and they mostly had blonde and brunette hair. There wasn't many red-haired ones. Judy the Jungle Girl may have actually have been the first red-headed Jungle Girl. I can't say that for sure, but I don't think I've seen any red hairs before her. Definitely some that came after her. So let's go over Judy the Jungle Girl.
Let's do all of the Jungle Girls.
You know, this will be the last Jungle Girl if you keep this up.
You will if you get requests.
No, you got me on that one. Okay, so let's get started with Judy. We'll go over a little bit about what her comic did, and then we'll cover her first appearance. So, let's get this one started. Judy of the Jungle, real name Judy, first appeared in Exciting Comics number 55 in 1947, published by Nedor, created by Ralph Mayo. Basically, Judy was created, it was just basically their version of Sheena, basically. They wanted their own Jungle Girl. I mean, who didn't want a Jungle Girl? Anyways, Judy of the Jungle had a few animal helpers with her. A monkey named Chan, an elephant named Tandy, and a black panther named Kala. I believe that's how it's pronounced, Kala. Now, she had a male companion that appeared in the episodes. He wasn't the focal point. I believe his first name was Pistol. He started off as, I guess, a special agent who wanted to take down a German who was in the jungle for reasons. And Judy was the focal point. Now, I believe in every issue they showed her killing a big beast. She killed leopards, cougars, elephants, or not an elephant, a wild yak, and a crocodile, to name a few. What they wanted to do is they wanted to show that this was her comic book, and she was not afraid to attack the animals and take them down. And she did so with a knife. I mean, these guys have claws and strength and can trample someone easily, and she's taking them down with her knife, basically. Now, she basically had this one-piece outfit that in the later issues kind of changed color, but I think they just started using different tones because her hair also seemed to change color. So I think it was the colors that got changed, not her outfit in particular. Now, they did have people of color in this comic, but this took place in Africa, and they were represented as the people that lives in the wild, which, as unfortunate as that representation is, it was quite common for the Golden Age. There were no black villains in this, though, just the indigenous people that were either working against or working with them. Like I said, that was a common theme for the 1940s. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue and just a little bit about her. So we have the opening page, and it's full of action. Judy of the jungle, cast adrift in a dark and mysterious jungle, neither seeking nor asking loyalty of any man. Lovely Judy risks life and limb in a desperate journey, which marks the first episode in a new and dramatic adventure tale. And you can see that she's getting ready to fight a couple of tigers. Now, the origin story, she doesn't quite get one. It just gets kind of glossed over with exposition. In a small African cabin, you are no longer a child, Judy. Your whole future lies ahead. I'm sure your dear mother would have given you the same choice. So we find out that this is her father, and she is the one who's been raising Judy, and I guess her mother passed away. Later that day, we see him out in the jungle with a butterfly net. And we see these two men, one with a monocle, and it says, introducing Kurt Von Saber, international gangster, and his killer crew. Okay, this is the 1940s. I'm going to let that one slide. We can't let anyone know we're here, Kurt. What do we do? When he comes closer, shoot him down. Bang, bang. They say he is done for, and they start to leave the premises. Says, later, Daddy's so late, something must have happened. Let's go look for him, Chan. She has a monkey named Chan. Now, we see her swinging through the jungle, Tarzan style, and she sees her father and says, Daddy. Because, yes, of course that's how you refer to your father. As she gets to him, he uses his dying breath, and for a guy who's giving out his dying breath, he sure does say a lot. A burly German named Kurt and his crew of cutthroats live for revenge, Judy, and remember, trust no man. I feel there's a message there. I promise. And she says that her father is dead and she is going to avenge him. Meanwhile, we get back to the surly German, and they see a man that is sitting out in the middle of the jungle. No rhyme or reason. He's just sitting in the jungle, and they stumble upon him. And they say, Kurt, someone's over there besides the tree. Ah, I see him. He looks harmless. Approach cautiously. Now, they see a guy with a butterfly net, and they decide to gun him down. Yet the guy sitting on, I guess, a rock, they approach, he seems harmless, approach cautiously. So, did they think that the guy with the butterfly net was a threat to them? Anyways, they walk over to him and he's asking for water, and one of the guys says that he's ready to pass out, and they're wondering whether they should trust him, and they see a wanted poster. Wanted for murder, Pistol Roberts, dangerous, shoot on sight. And they're like, hey, he's one of us. Yeah, essentially. So they give him water to drink. In the meantime, on the vengeance trail, Judy is talking about how they don't know the jungle, so she should be able to catch up with them easily, because she does know the jungle. Now she sees that they have a campfire, and her bows and arrows would be useless against guns. I'm not making the assumption that she has bows and arrows. That's what she says. Ralph, we're on the edge of the Verdelth. Watch your cigarettes, they might start a fire. That's it. I'll separate them and deal with them one at a time. So she waits. Hold on, just enough wood for my purpose. I guess she starts several fires and makes them split up. And look, Kurt, it's broken out in several places, and I guess they decided they're going to extinguish the fire. Ralph, George, Tony, you three go out and see how bad the fires are. If they spread, we must move out of here fast. So Judy is spying on them and thinks that she now has her chance to get the drop on them. But Von Saber sees her. A girl spying on us. From that tree, I'll shoot her. The vantage point here is kind of weird. He is pointing up at her. He is saying that she is up in the tree, yet he seems to be behind her on elevated ground, where he gets an excellent look at her. And then in the next panels, we show that she is actually above them. So the whole drawing here is weird. Wait a minute, let's find out what she's doing here first. There may be others. So they convince her to come out of the tree, or they're going to shoot her. She says she's coming down, tells her monkey to stay there. And Von Saber wants to know who she is. He's not talking, and he's getting ready to shoot her, and then the guy who was harmless says, she's too pretty to kill. Oh, man, and I thought the voice was bad. Okay. Von Saber says you're right, and they tie her up, and as they're discussing where they're going to set a headquarters, this guy who was harmless runs over and cuts the ropes. And he says, I didn't trust you from the start, Roberts. I'll kill you both. And she gets behind Von Saber and grabs him around the neck. And the gun shoots off wildly. And then Roberts hits him so hard that he knocks him down. And she calls for her monkey. As they start to leave, I guess Roberts got the gun. I winged one of them. That should slow them down. Well, young lady, you botched my work good and proper. I'm a special government criminal agent. Here's my identification. Von Saber did not suspect me. What is it, Chan? I guess the monkey was alerting her. And we find out that he's also a special agent, so they're cramming a lot here at once. A jaguar leaps out of the trees, and Jane grabs it around the neck, I guess. Two can play the game of death killer, and she kills the jaguar and he says, wow, you're an amazing girl. You saved my life. And she says, I hate all men, but you had just saved mine. And then he decides to kiss her. Now, we can tell that there's no consent given here, because she just says she hate all men. In that case, let's think each other like this. And I'm surprised she didn't stab him. The fact that she hates all men. And in the last page, it actually ends, or the last panel ends with the villain, but Von Saber has certain ideas of his own. If it's the last thing I do, let me do this in the German voice. If it's the last thing I do, I will kill those two with my own bare hands. The crucial class appears in the next issue. Watch for it. And yeah, she goes on for a lot more issues. Now, Judy would only have 15 issues. She replaced Miss Mask and would be there until the end of the run of Exciting Comics. And she also appeared, she had some of her stories reprinted in AC Comics. I can't find any information about that, if she went on after that. And that was pretty much her stories. She would kill, threatening creatures, save Pistol's life, and she never wore any shoes. Now, in the first issue, she says that she hates all men. You saw that. I think that she may have eased up on that a little bit. She still hated the villains, but I guess that she was able to tolerate some men. I guess it depended on the company. By the third issue, and issue 3, I believe that she actually kisses him instead of it being the other way around, like in the first issue. But that was it. 15 issues. Golden Age Ginger. She wasn't exactly a flash in the pan, but she didn't stick around for the long term, which was the case for a lot of Jungle Girls. They would appear and then they would have a short period of time. Well, I hope you liked this video. I hope you learned a little something about another Jungle Girl. I haven't covered very many. Now that I have reached over 250 subscribers, I'm going to do a special video next week. This one hasn't been requested, but this is what I'm going to do to celebrate my 250th subscriber. Got a few more now, but that's what's coming up next week. So if you've watched to the end, you know what's coming. And I'll bring this up at the beginning of the next one. So we're at 250, special video review coming up next week. So I'll see you then.